Welcome to the LFC Journal, guys. I'm Owen James. This is your Liverpool news update. It is Monday, the 19th of January. Still no signings through the door, and it doesn't look like there will be any business in January. If I am being really honest about this, I genuinely believe there will not be a single new arrival at Anfield for the first team squad other than the kids that are coming through the door to add to Rob Page's under-21 squad. That, I think, will be the sum total of Liverpool's business this January, which, if you compare us to other clubs in the top four or in the top six, it's a joke. It is an absolute joke. Manchester City, obviously, yes, they didn't obviously get the victory at the weekend, but were outplayed by Manchester United, who worryingly seem to be hitting some sort of form. They went and bought Gahey, they went and bought Semenyo, obviously two targets that I think Liverpool should have looked at and definitely should have signed in this window. You then obviously move on to Chelsea, who today signed Xhaka, a player who was allegedly a centre-back who was allegedly interesting Liverpool, also now heading to Chelsea, personal terms agreed. Guys, I honestly, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, unserious, genuinely unserious about this season. I think the signs are there that they're giving up on this season, that they don't see that Arne can turn this around. They do not see that the manager is the man for the future, and they're kind of saying, right this season off, we'll keep our powder dry, we'll keep our money dry, we'll keep our money in our back pockets, and then obviously come the summer when we change managers, then we'll obviously start to spend again. That seems to be very much the kind of talk that is coming out of those sources around Anfield. And I've got to say, I wholeheartedly agree with the need to change Arne Slot, except I would not wait till the end of the season. I would do it today. Get rid of him, bring someone in. Look, if Xabi Alonso does not want the job now, today, if he wants a bit of a rest before taking his next job, give it to Steven Gerrard or someone else on an interim basis, and then bring Alonso in the summer. You've got to have something that's an improvement on what we are seeing week in, week out by this Liverpool squad, because I'll tell you something, the football that we are seeing from this man's teams is boring, it is dire, it is predictable, it is turgid, it is boring Dutch horseshoe football that does not work in our Premier League. The sole intention of an Arne Slot team that he sends out is not to get beat. It's not to win. It's not to take the game to the opposition. It is not to get beat. And as I said on the video the other day, if we were playing 11 deaf, dumb and blind footballers, he would still send our team with the intention of not getting beat, not actually attacking them or taking the game to him. That is the Arne Slot way. John, honestly, it's getting ridiculous. I honestly don't understand how this man still has a job. I know we're 12 unbeaten, but the football is so bad. And we've drawn with all three newly promoted clubs, the first time that's happened since 1981. Throughout his time this season, he has got some records that are not records to envy. The worst run since the 1950s, the most number of defeats at home since the 1920s. It is genuinely awful at this moment in time. Some stats: out of the last 17 games, we have won only 5. Only 5 games out of 17. That is it. I mean, that is absolutely shocking. And Virgil can stand there and say post-match, I don't like booing from my home fans. Well, Virgil, tell your manager that, mate. Sort it out. Genuinely sort it out. Even a record. I mean, people say, well, why is it only 17? Well, okay, let's take 22 games. We've won 10 out of 22. We've won less than 50% of our games this season. Less than 50%. Just get your head around that for a minute. Less than 50% of our games this season we have won. Even if you take it across 22 games, 21 points out of a possible 51 points. Again, diabolical, under half, 1.24 points per game. Look, I'm not going to get into Roy Hodgson comparisons because it's not worth it, but 1.24 points per game is just genuinely, absolutely awful. And you look at the team that this man sends out on a daily basis, and you look at the games we play in the Premier League, and you just do not see a team that wants to take the game to the opposition. You don't see a team that try to take the game to the opposition. You see a team that are just content with keeping the ball, not conceding chances, not conceding goals, and basically trying to get through to the end of the game with winning 1-0 or getting a draw. That seems to be the sole intention of an Arne Slot coach side. And I'm sorry, Arne, if you were managing Everton or you were managing West Ham or Brentford or Fulham or someone like that, that may be acceptable. But for Liverpool Football Club, that is not acceptable. Now, you look at the league table. Yes, of course, we sit fourth at this moment in time on 36 points, 1 point ahead of Manchester United, 2 points ahead of Chelsea, 3 ahead of Brentford, 3 ahead of Newcastle, 3 ahead of Sunderland, and 4 ahead of Everton. I'm not being funny, but you look at that little group behind us, and I think you can probably disregard Brentford and Sunderland, but you look at Newcastle, you look at Chelsea, you look at Manchester United, and they're all gradually starting to pick up points. And Manchester United, to me, looks very, very good on Sunday, I think it was, against Manchester City. Very, very worrying. Chelsea, I think, are also improving under Liam Rosenior. There's a real opportunity, there's a real possibility here, I think. Liverpool could end up finishing this season in 6th place. Genuinely could end up finishing this season in 6th place and out of the Champions League. And, FSG apparently at this moment in time continue to back the manager. But look, I'd be interested to see if that is still the case, if they look at it and they genuinely see that Champions League football is under threat. The implication of Liverpool missing out on Champions League football and dropping into the Europa League is financially massive for this football club. And, it would probably lead to a summer of very little recruitment, if any. And then the squad and the team falling even further behind. Slot could do long-term damage to this football club if he is not removed. Like I said to you, for me, Slot has got to go today, this week, before the Marseille game. I don't care. Just get rid of him. And I don't get... Look, credit in the bank. He won the league last year with Klopp's tactics, with Klopp's team. The thing that he did that helped him win a league was keep the players fitter, so I'll give him credit for that. But he can sit there in press conferences and lie through his teeth, which is what he does. He lies. He's a liar. He said, and I quote, "I've changed nothing this season." Absolute bullshit, Arne. Absolute bullshit. The style of football Liverpool play this season is no way, in any way, shape or form, anything similar to last season. If you don't believe me, guys, go back and watch some of the games from last season and then watch the games from this season and compare, because there is a huge, huge difference between the style of football that we play this season and the style of football that we played last season. So he can lie as much as he wants, but we know the truth and we're not stupid. He clearly thinks we are. And to me, the guy honestly has to go. I don't understand how the board will let it get this bad. Things will get this bad before they will actually act. And they can talk about, we don't want to follow the examples of Manchester United and Chelsea. Well, you're going to look bloody stupid if you finish behind Manchester United and Chelsea, aren't you? When you're commenting, we're not going to take that example because that's not the way to operate. Well, if they both finish above us, which is, there's a chance that this definitely could happen this season, and they're playing better than us at the moment, you're going to look really silly. And all the fans who are repeating this mantra, Liverpool don't sack managers. Well, are Brendan Rodgers and Roy Hodgson still here? Liverpool don't sack managers. We don't follow the example of other clubs because that's not how you have success. Well, if we finish behind those clubs, is that still the case? Because there's a real possibility we could finish behind Manchester United and Chelsea this season. And look, you can talk all you want about winning the Champions League. It ain't going to happen. That's the only way Arne Slot keeps his job for me. If he wins the Champions League this season, then yes, fine, he keeps his job. But that's the only way he keeps his job. Even finishing fourth and winning the FA Cup is not enough to keep this dodgy Dutchman in his position as our manager. Right, guys. I mean, look, that next game up, after we've got Marseille on Wednesday, then the next league game up is away at Bournemouth on the 24th. And Mo Salah will be back for that game. Does Mo Salah go straight back into the lineup? Does Mo Salah start? That is the question. And does Mo Salah make a difference? Now, the group stage Mo Salah from the AFCON, possibly. The Mo Salah v Senegal, when against the top team where he delivered absolutely nothing and was pretty anonymous for the entire time he was on the field, probably not. But once again, we're in a situation where it could actually lead to a huge blow up again in the dressing room. If Salah isn't started, if he doesn't start regularly for Liverpool, which I think there's a chance that could happen, then is it all going to blow up again? Is it all going to come tumbling down again? And we're going to have the Slot v Salah argument again. Slot has a difficult decision to make. He's got to handle this situation in the right way. And for me, you've kind of got to put Salah back into this team for that Bournemouth game because it is going really, really badly. And I suppose Slot has to kind of hope that maybe, just maybe, Salah can kind of save him. I mean, that's another reason why he won the league last season as well. Salah's form. If Mo Salah doesn't have the season he had last season, Slot doesn't win the league. Quite simple. It is quite simple. So, look, big decision for Arne Slot to make on Saturday with Mo Salah returning to the club after the African Cup of Nations. Right, let's have a look at this. Centre-back links. Look, I think this is summer centre-back links. I honestly don't think that Liverpool spend in this window. You look at the unwillingness to match the Mark Gahey situation with Manchester City and to rival Manchester City, which was a joke and shows a very unserious football club that are not serious about going for the title this season. And please don't give me the bullshit of a transitional season. It ain't a fucking transitional season. Go back and check out the quote at the start of the season. If you honestly believe that, you must be either high or drunk or mentally challenged. I don't know which one it is. And obviously, Bastoni and Schlotterbeck are the two links that are coming up ahead of the summer transfer window. Look, there's continuing uncertainty around Ibou Konate. The reports are that the gap between what Ibou Konate wants and what Liverpool are prepared to give him apparently is huge. So it does look like that report from David Ornstein is starting to come to fruition, that Ibou Konate will exit the club at the end of the season. And look, for me, he can go because he's been so bad this year and he was terrible again on Saturday against Burnley. So fair enough. I mean, if Konate does go, it leaves Joe Gomez, who I think, again, you've got a situation with Joe where he is very unreliable. He may well exit the club this summer as well. It leaves then Leone and Van Dijk. So I think, you're looking at a situation where Liverpool do need to buy two centre-backs. Bastoni will be exceptionally difficult to get out of Italy. He is quite clearly a very, very talented defender. Maybe the hope of playing alongside Leone may add to his desire to come. I don't know. But he is a very, very good defender. It's seen perhaps as a long-term successor to Virgil van Dijk. He does play on the left side of the Inter Milan defence and is a very dominant aerially and on the ground as well. Schlotterbeck is a target for a number of clubs this summer, including Liverpool. Apparently, he doesn't want to stay at Dortmund. He wants to move. Munich apparently are looking at him, as they always do. When clubs in their league get a good footballer, it's Munich always come sniffing and calling, as they did with Wirtz, and they lost out. It's thought that Schlotterbeck is a player on Liverpool's radar for this summer, and kind of follows this kind of message that comes out of the club that we have targets and we wait for opportunities for them to become available to sign them. We don't react in the market to meet the needs of our squad when our squad is depreciated the same way that other clubs do. This would very much follow that pattern with Bastoni and with Schlotterbeck. News on Kostas Tsimikas, who will apparently return from loan from Roma at the end of the season. Tsimikas is not wanted by Roma apparently and has fallen out of favour there. Story goes that if Andy Robertson does depart this summer, which is a possibility given the fact he's out of contract and negotiations are ongoing over a new deal for Robbo, and I hope he signs it, that Tsimikas could therefore remain, as it's thought that Tsimikas is more willing than perhaps Robbo to remain as a backup at the club to Milos Kerkez. So news there that Tsimikas could be back in the summer. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on the stories we've covered this morning or this afternoon, when you've watched it in this video. If you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.